our outlook is really for NAMCOR to be the key driver in terms of influence and dictating on behalf of the government where we want to go, what value do we want to return to our people, and that is in terms of playing in the upstream industry itself. I mean, in the upstream sector itself by influencing, dictating how the FDP is going, because the FDP is the ultimate tool on whether and how much economic benefit will really be derived without sacrificing value. So on the upstream space itself, NAMCOR is actively doing that. On the spin-off industries and in the midstream, we are looking at setting up like incubator vehicles which will allow local and smaller companies to participate. For example, the logistics space, which will really bring together, bring it one space at point where the local companies will participate. So on the rest of the value chain, NAMCOR is looking at other spaces in the value chain, such as working towards developing a viable concept for a refinery, for example, to make sure that we bring wider economic benefits in terms of logistics, assisting with other SOEs, such as to develop the steel industry, fertilizer industry, in terms of working together with NAMCOR, for example, to make sure that we put the energy security of the country by giving these ideas to the operators on how we can monetize the gas. So NAMCOR, of course, is playing a very important role, just a few steps ahead of us. So by the year 2003, Guyana already had about 38 discoveries, but there was really one that changed their landscape, which was discovered in 2015, and its first oil was launched in 2019. So earlier this year, we heard that Guyana has already FID 4 projects. By FID, it means that these projects have been sanctioned and resources have been committed to those projects, and probably 2 more to be committed. So this, from 2019 to where we are now, this is about 4 years. And earlier this year, again, the Minister of Finance of Guyana has mentioned that their GDP growth for 2022 has actually increased by over 62%. So in terms of this value and the timeline of the value that we can expect from Namibia, as my colleague Joanna has mentioned before, we are talking about discoveries that we like to term as decent. So our estimates and these are numbers that are already in the public domain, about 10.5 billion barrels of oil recovery. So we expect a period of about 5 to 6 years lag after we have FID these projects for us to reap economic benefits, peaking out at about 150 barrels of oil per day. So what this means in terms of the revenue to the Namibian government, and the Petroleum Commissioner has already mentioned our share, that we expect these proceedings to be bigger than Namibia's current fiscal revenue, which in this past financial year was about 3.2 billion. So we expect it to be about 5.6 billion at its peak of production. So as it was said before by Robin, it could actually mean a good problem, which I would say a good problem of actually having so much money to spend. So what we see and what we envision, and this is what NAMCOR is constantly shaping, is that we'll push for diversification of the economy so that we don't only depend on the oil and gas, where everyone is looking to secure employment in the oil and gas, or local companies to participate in the oil and gas, but through the contributions to the sovereign wealth fund, through the money that is collected by the government from royalties and taxes, if this can be channeled to other sectors, so that we make sure that we don't just crowd out the oil and gas sector where people are looking to gain opportunities, but everything else, for example, if we can work together with the Development Bank of Namibia, where we can say, let's use a portion of the money that is coming from the World Future Fund. They will be funding other emerging economies such as ICT, agriculture, for example, plus other mainstream of industries. So we are really looking for all these revenues to be channeled to grow the economy, not only focusing on it, because as we know, that may lead to the demise of the rest of the economies. That is the diamond industry, which is the one that has been pushing the economy. So now it's going to take over from them and become the growing younger brother. So we want it to be beneficial.